Welcome. Today, we're going to discuss woodwork joints. Every woodwork project you see, it's a combination of pieces of wood that make up the projects that you see. Be it your safe, the safe you have in your house, you have different pieces of wood that are joined to produce them. Be it the stool you are sitting on, be it the chair that you are sitting on in your houses, be it the roof, they are all held, right, by different pieces of wood coming together to form that complex shape that you see. So today, we're going to talk about woodwork joints. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to define joinery, list types of woodwork joints that we have, identify woodwork joints. When you see them, you should be able to know, oh, this is a joint that is operational here. This is what this carpenter is doing. This is what this person is doing here. You should also be able to state the uses of these joints, where they are applied to. Okay. What then is joinery? What is joinery? What is joinery? Joinery is the process of adding or joining two pieces of wood together to produce a more complex shape. So this process is called joinery. That can be done by different means, by different things. You can use a nail to hold them. You can use an adhesive to hold different pieces of wood together to form a complex shape. Let's go. What are different types of joints that we have? We have, number one, a type of joint we call the bolt joint or lap joint. The bolt joint, like you see, they are not very strong joints. All right. When we have two pieces of wood, for example, what you're seeing, if we separate this wood and this wood, when you just bring them together and join them, such joint produced in this manner is called a bolt joint. It's not a very strong joint. You can see this joint in your frames, in your bed frames. You can see them in window frames. You can see them in cabinets. You can see them even in the shelf, the bookshelf in your house. You know, when you have this shelf, this wood and the other wood just to produce this joint. This kind of joint is what we call bolt joint, not a strong joint. We have another type of joint that we call a cross-halving joint. A cross-halving joint. This is a way you just have, of course, you're going to do this with a gauge. Just have a piece of wood and also produce another piece of wood that can fit into the other half. When we have such joint, you use chisel to chisel it. Of course, you don't just do it anyhow. A skilled person should do that. All right. So this joint you see here is also a strong joint. It's a strong joint. We use them also in tables. You can use them in photograph frames. They can be used in chairs. Yes, it's a strong joint. So we can use cross-halving joint in these places, even in frame of doors. Yes. Oftentimes, that's how you just have to cut into it and fix them. Door frames. Tables have this joint. Also, we also have another type of joint that we call mortise and tenon joint. Mortise and tenon joint. From what you can see from the motion video, this is a mortise, while this is a tenon. Mortise here is a hole made into one part of the wood and the other part of the wood is, which we call tenon, all right, is chiseled in such a way that it can fit into that wood, that hole made in the mortise. So when you have them, all right, joined or fit into the other, we can use a fastener to hold the tenon in place. This kind of joint is a very, very strong joint, the strongest, one of the strongest joints you have in woodworking. Any place you don't want it to break, you don't want any shift in whatever you are making, you mortise it. The upholstery makers normally make use of that word. Say, hey, do the mortising, mortise it. Okay, we need this in building of benches, in doors, in windows, and in tables. Okay, this kind of joint is called mortise and tenon joint. Mortise and tenon joint. This is the tenon, this is the mortise. We also have bridle joints. This is a way we join pieces of wood to form a shape, a complex shape that we want. But in this case, a part of this joint, part of this wood is carved or is cut through, and another part also is cut in such a way that it can fit it into this opening here. This is also a very strong joint, a bridle joint. This is also a very, very strong joint, a bridle joint. We normally use them in making of beams, in roofs. That's where we use this kind of joint, a very strong joint we have. We also have another type of joint we call the dovetail joint. The dovetail, it got the name from the shape. Can't you see that this shape here that my cursor is at looks like the tail of a dove? That's where it got the name from. Very strong joint. We have the pin there, we have the tail. All right. So this joint usually is used for cabinet work, making of boxes. We can also use them in construction of drawer construction, carcass construction, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this joint, as seen here, is called the dovetail joints. It's called the dovetail joints. We also have another joint that we call the finger joint. We have another joint that we call the finger joint. This finger joint, you see the way they are. They look like our finger. See the way my finger clogged. See the meshing of my finger. We have this joint that we have one part of it, okay, made in such a way that both of them can clog this way, can mesh this way. So they're fitting into the other, like grooves of the fingers we have. That's where the name came from, that they are finger joints. Okay, normally they are used in making boxes, box-like construction in drawers. They are also used in cabinet work, just like what we have in dovetail joint. We also have a kind of joint we call the tongue and the groove. This is the groove here. This is the tongue. So the tongue fits into the groove. And it's one of the strongest joints that we also have. Okay? This kind of joint can be used in woodwork. It can be used in furniture making. It can also be used, some people that want to make drawers, you know, lockers, can use this joint to join pieces of wood together. Yes, when they join them, then they can produce a more complex shapes that is needed. Let's look at our app. Let's practice some questions based on what I have just discussed with you using ExamGuide app. Like I told you, ExamGuide app is an app for any BSc student. If you really want to sit for this examination and make your distinctions, I recommend this app strongly for your practice. Remember that they said that practice perfects the learner. When you practice, you perfect and perfect and perfect. Okay, so let's look at some questions that come from our ExamGuide app on this topic. The woodwork joint drawn below is it a boot joint? Is it a dovetail joint? Is it a dowel joint? Is it a housing joint? One would have confused it with a dowel because a dowel has this kind, but this case, this is called a pin joint. This is a pin joint. All right, this one here is a pin joint. It's a type of mortise. It's a pin joint. They are joined with a pin, so we call it a pin joint. So the diagram you see there is a pin joint. Okay, let's look at another question. The type of joint sketched below is dowel, housed, mortise and tenon, rebated, tongue and grooved. A very close look at this will tell you that this is tenon and mortise, because this is our tenon here and this is the mortise. So the joint seen here is mortise and tenon, and that's option C here is the right option for that question. Thank you. See you.